Hello, hello, hello. Hey, welcome back to fightingworks.com. Again, that's fightingworks with a Z, not like with an S, like it's on my shirt. This used to be my URL, fightingworks.com, but I kind of let my, I was letting somebody else take care of my website and kind of lost track of payment, keeping the URL up to date there payment-wise, and somebody else bought that URL, and now I have to do it with a Z versus an S. So it's fightingworks.com with a Z, so you can look us up, find the videos, and keep up to date with the knowledge that I'm spewing out, and hopefully take you on to a safer, more healthier lifestyle. All right, today I want to work on actual execution of technique, the proper way to execute technique. I stepped on it a little bit in the 4 principles of execution, but I'm trying to get a little better visual of it here. That's not going to be a good view, but that one is, so we'll use this one over here. Again, like I said, in the 4 principles of execution, the proper fighting stance would be with your feet shoulders in width and shoulders in depth, with your knees bent and up on the rear of the up on the ball of the rear foot, right? That would be the proper stance for your feet, and you want to keep your body on top of and in between your feet at all times. All right, so anytime you're throwing a technique, where's it going to start? Ball of the foot, that's right, ball of the foot. So as I execute a technique, I'm going to turn on the ball of my foot, which is going to put my hip in motion, which is then going to rotate my shoulder, and the hand is the last thing to go out. So it starts at the ball of the foot. Therefore, you've got your leg, your hip, your upper body, shoulder, arm, everything coming behind that shot. And same thing when you throw the other shot for your equal and opposite reaction. You got your whole body coming behind the technique. See the feet turn, the hips turn, the shoulders turn, all right? And everything stops and starts in the same place. You want to keep your elbows down, hands up. This takes no energy at all. You don't want to be here, all right? This what? Opens your body, all right? And it takes energy to hold your hands up. So just relax your arms on your upper body. Turn your upper body sideways so you cut off a lot of target area. Hips, feet, and shoulder width apart. Body on top of and in between the feet. Starts with the ball of the foot and extends. And pulls back, pushes out, pulls back, all right? Pushes out, pulls back. Using the legs, hips, upper body, use your whole body to throw a technique. In doing so, you're going to do so what, how? Through tension upon extension. You want to relax through the technique, boom, and explode on contact. Relax and explode, relax and explode, relax and explode. Tension upon extension. You want to practice focusing your visualization, either on a bag, pillow, piece of paper, x-ray paper, however you want to practice your technique on whatever device or target you want to practice your technique. Practice is a must, all right? You gotta practice, and you gotta practice, and you gotta be redundant. You don't need 18,000 different weapons and techniques. All you need is a couple weapons and a couple ways to execute those weapons. And if you get those down, if you have those ingrained in your body, in your physical mentality, all right, your physical memorization, whatever it is, whatever you want to say, however you want to call it, all right, if you've got that move down to where it's an action versus a reaction, then you don't have to worry about anything else, because that is going to be so in tune, so precise, so devastating. It's only going to take that shot, maybe one or two more, 3, 4 tops to take out your assailant. So you want to visualize or focus your control, whether it's just before, just at, just beneath, or all the way through, whatever contact point, whatever visualization or follow through or focus point that you are shooting for takes practice. You should be able to go just before, just at, just beneath, or all the way through. Whatever you want to do, you should be in total control of that action at all times. So, let's go with maybe a hook. All right, so we got the rear hand, we got the front hand, okay? Maybe with the front hand we could add a step, okay? So that would add, I mean, you can't really get a whole lot of rotation with the front hand because your body is already turned. So in doing so, being in your fighting stance and having your upper body turned sideways, this does a couple of things, right? It takes away a lot of your target area. So if you're here, look at all this target area, all right? Whereas if you're here, not as much target area, right? It's gonna have to come around to get to your body, and you're a lot closer to your target to begin with, all right? So turning sideways cuts off target area, puts you closer to your opponent to begin with. So, lost my train of thought. Okay, front hand. A little step with your front foot. So you're going to actually drive with the rear leg. You're just going to simply pick up the front foot. All right? So you're going to pick up the front foot and drive with the rear leg. Extend the hand and make sure that the hand is making contact as the front foot sets. Okay? So it's a timing and distance thing to where as you execute the front hand, when you set that front foot on the ground and when that front foot lands, your hand is landing, bringing all that weight and power, all that forward momentum, all that power, focus, visualization, tension upon extension, everything on the extension when that foot hits. So getting back to the hook, all right, so we got front hand, rear hand, and hook now. Basically what's going to happen here is you're going to envision that from your rear foot that's up on the ball of the foot, you're going to be spinning that in and throwing the heel down into the ground as if your heel was driving a nail into the floor. And your other foot, you're going to imagine or visualize that it's on a trampoline and being sprung up into the air. So basically it's drive the nail, spring the heel. And just same thing the opposite way. Drive the nail, spring the heel. Drive the nail, spring the heel. Drive the nail, spring the heel. I don't know if you can hear that thud or not, but that's what you want to do. You want to be able to overemphasize that movement so that you can get used to turning your hips, turning your shoulders, and executing the technique with the most power possible. Basically, an uppercut and a hook are what I call body shots, meaning that they're thrown with the body. And I guess essentially you could say all shots should be body shots thrown with the body. No technique should be an arm technique or a leg lift. Okay? You should have the most devastating, you should have the most devastating move with every move that you execute. Anytime you throw a technique, it should be a finishing blow. Doesn't have to be, all right? Because what's that do? Tension creates use of a lot of energy. Use of a lot of energy is going to take you out of the picture a lot quicker than it needs to. All right, hopefully that's not ever going to be an issue, because it shouldn't take more than 2 or 3, 4 at the most techniques to finish the situation to begin with. All right, but why use any more energy than you have to? If you throw something quickly and tense upon the extension, explode on contact, that's all the energy that you're going to need, mentally and physically. So drive the nail, spin the heel. Basically all you need to do, instead of throwing your arm, is throw up the elbow, pick up the elbow so you have some foundation behind the hook, and drive the nail, spin the heel. Drive the nail, spin the heel, pick the elbow up. That's all a hook should ever be. And the only thing different with an uppercut is, let's get back to the hook real quick, is that you need, in order to make this a body shot and not an arm shot, you have to get inside, all right? You have to get close enough to make contact with that technique. It's not going to happen from out here, all right? And even from here, it's just going to be arm, whereas from here, it's going to be your whole body, okay? So uppercut, basically, you're going to lead with the opposing shoulder. It's kind of unorthodox, but it goes back to for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. So this should probably come off of maybe a front hand or a right cross or something, instead of leading with it. So instead of going up, boom, all right, you could go whap, boom, all right. So basically, or whap, boom, you're going to lead with the opposing shoulder, bending your legs, body on top of and in between your feet, and then raise up. So you should never see this in executing an uppercut. It should just simply be an upper body movement that's being thrown with your legs. So lead with the opposing shoulder and lift and drive. Lead with the opposing shoulder, dipping the legs so that you're coming up. All right, you're coming up, using your legs, your hips, your shoulders, your arm, everything behind that technique versus, okay? So you got this versus this. It wasn't thrown any harder. It was just thrown with the whole body, which made it more effective and harder. So I guess it was thrown harder, but it's not like I put more energy into the technique to make it harder. I just implemented my body mechanics. So that's basically the gist of executing technique properly. I guess what would come before that would be the proper way to move. And the proper way to move would be, like I said earlier, whatever direction you're moving, and whatever direction you're moving, that leg is going to move first. And I don't mean so much step. It's just going to be a kind of like a lift, right? Because you want to drive with the opposing leg, so you're getting the most power out of the technique, and getting the front leg out of the way so you don't trip over yourself. So basically, it's just a step, or lift and drive, lift and drive, lift and drive, lift and drive, lift and drive. All right. So it's not a big lift. It's not a big movement. It shouldn't be like a telltale sign. Just a little bit of lift so that you get your leg out of the way so you don't trip over yourself, and you drive with the opposing leg, whether it's right or left or back or forward. All right. And if you could tell, if you see there at all, my feet stayed the same width and depth with every movement. Feet, shoulders in width, shoulders in depth. Every time you move, whatever direction, whatever distance one leg moves, the other one's going to move. If you let your feet pitch up to one another, all right, you're going to be a pole, and it's going to be easy for you to be knocked down or taken off balance. So every time you step, same distance. Step, 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 step. The proper footwork for executing technique. Head movement is probably a key factor in that you don't, again, you want to keep your body on top of and in between your feet. So if a punch is coming at your head, if you do this, your body's no longer on top of and in between your feet, correct? But if you do this, all right, a little bob, a little head movement, is that you're going to miss getting hit just ever so slightly, but you're putting yourself in a position to counter your technique or their technique so that you can be more devastating, to put it bluntly, on your counterattack. Whereas if you're way over here, in order to counter, now you gotta step up, or even from here, it's gonna be a long way to get to your target. The closest distance between 2 points is what? A straight line. So the closer you are to your technique, the more straight line your technique or attack is, the more devastating you're going to be, the more positive of an outcome is going to happen. Some practice tips. Get against the wall. When you're throwing your technique, make sure that you're pivoting by striking the wall. All right, this is also going to help with your extension so that you're not lifting your elbow. When you throw your technique, the wall is going to get you in the habit of keeping your elbow down so that you're throwing a straight line technique. When you pick your elbow up to throw a technique, you're moving energy outward and forward, outward and forward. So you're going to take a lot of power away from your technique. So elbows down, protecting your body, all right? There's no reason to lift your elbows to protect your head. Anything that goes above your finger is going to hit you in the skull, and that's going to hurt your opponent more than it's going to hurt you, all right? And if they come to the body, your elbows are already down to move one way or another to protect your body. And you want to keep them down when you're executing your technique. Straight line technique, closest distance between 2 points. Then I guess the only other thing would be bobbing and weave. Okay, we did the bob with the head, all right? You can go forward, back, side to side. And then I guess the only other thing you would have to do is learn how to weave. Weave, all right? So I guess this would obviously go along with executing technique. So feet, shoulders in width, shoulders in depth. Basically all you're doing is dipping straight down and going to one side or the other, all right? You don't want to lean into a technique, keep your body on top of and in between your feet at all times, and you don't want to lean back, all right? So basically you just go straight down, so it's going to take you under whatever's coming at you. People are throwing techniques. If you're fighting somebody in the street, hopefully they're not a practiced fighter. They're somebody that is doing some kind of street fighting, some kind of unpracticed motions. So it's generally going to be a haymaker or maybe an overhand strike. So by bobbing or weaving under or to the side of the technique is going to put you in a great position to not get hit and put yourself in a position for a counterattack. And that's good work on the legs too, all right? Just practicing coming up and coming down. You do that 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 times. You're gonna build up some leg muscles too, not to mention balance. All right, please. please subscribe. Any questions, comments, please leave them below. Tell your friends, family, everybody. Let me get out there and help you help others. And let's make this a more peaceful world, a place with peaceful warriors all over the place, people that are living the lifestyle, being courteous to one another, being mannerly, being timely. You know, that's respecting other people's time. It may not seem like a lot, but it's very disrespectful to tell somebody you're going to be somewhere and then not be there when you say you're going to be there. I mean, really, think about it. If you met a meeting with somebody and everybody's got things to do, everybody's got their own agenda or their own daily checklist or whatever. If you say you're going to be there at 10 o'clock and you don't show up till 10:15, or if you're there at 10 o'clock and they don't show up till 10:15, that's disrespect by them, and it's disrespect by you if you're late. So to be there on time, you need to be there early. All right? Respect people's time and respect people. Respect their time, respect them as who they are. It's all part of the tenets of the martial arts lifestyle. Right? This is something that you have to live on a daily basis. You have to be, courteous to everybody. Why would you just be courteous and mannerly to your martial arts instructor or your boxing coach or whatever, all right? And not be respectful to anybody else out there? Why would you look down on somebody else? Why would you judge somebody else? It's all part of a lifestyle. And if we live that way always, if we live out on the street how we would live in the dojo or in the gym, respecting one another, being mannerly, being courteous, opening doors, saying please, thank you, no sir, yes sir, no ma'am, yes ma'am, whatever, how much more awesome would it be to wake up in the morning if everybody was like that? Geez, take your foot off the pedal. Let somebody in on the freeway. Quit flipping people off. Be nice. Have a great day. See you on the other side.